I've had a donut, 200 milligrams of caffeine, and 9 hours of sleep, and I am ready to film this freaking video. Woo! Apparently, I still need to talk about James Charles. Hey James, it's time to make like a Tarte concealer and shape up.
When James says he's full coverage, we need to clarify if it's a gossip tabloid or his makeup. Oh, and James, by the way, you stole Hey Sisters from the Mormons.
Every 6 months, James Charles gets canceled for doing something disgusting. At least it makes him more consistent than a Jaclyn Hill lipstick. At this point, James Charles is less of a makeup artist and more of a crisis actor. Over and over again, James Charles has said that he's focused on personal growth. And at this point, I'm starting to think he was talking about his botched BBL. And by the way, James is about as much as a musical artist as Brooklyn Beckham is a photographer. Sir, your vocals are flatter than the Diet Coke that's been sitting in my car in Southern California for 48 hours. Let's pipe down. The way to respond to a public cancellation for grooming young men is not to become a vocal artist. James, when we told you to stop talking, we didn't mean start singing. Welcome to Tyler's Kitchen, the world's first anti-cooking show where I talk about my interests, which include but are not limited to history, pop culture, and random shit I see on the internet with a few more jokes than is necessary and or appropriate. Today we're talking about the internet's nuclear roach, James Charles. This man has survived cancellation after cancellation after cancellation, scandal after scandal after scandal, and has yet to go away. It seems like Gen Alpha has started to find James Charles content and they're like, wow, this guy is so positive and charismatic and fun. Why do people hate him? I'm confused. So I do believe that as a chronically online internet historian, I want to make a little piece of media for those who don't know what James has been up to the past few years. And today I'm in my beauty YouTuber era, and I'm going to be making a lip balm. I did buy a kit from the craft store. I was not gonna do too many steps. This is beeswax based. Heat beeswax, shea butter, and coconut oil together in a double boiler. So is this a true double boiler? No, but will it be fine? Perhaps. Oh my gosh, it's already measured out. Oh, we're making such big moves, moms. Yes! This story begins in 2016. So if you don't know who James Charles is, what does grass smell like? What does it feel like to be outside? You can tell by the color of the way my skin is that I've never been. But for the rest of us who are chronically online, 2015 was the golden age of internet. I was clocking into YouTube every day after school, like refreshing the subscription feed to check on the dolls. Gabby Show, Liza Koshy, Shane Dawson, Jenna Marbles. Wait, run that back and we should edit it like the Hunger Games tributes, cause you know, Gabby Show, Liza Koshy, Shane Dawson, Jenna Marbles. At this time, the internet was alive, well, and wearing Kylie Jenner lip kits. By September 2016, James went viral for his senior yearbook photo featuring a ring light and a highlight so bright air traffic control declared it a hazard. This moment made him the world's first male cover girl model. He was on The Ellen Show, and it gave him millions and millions of followers. My favorite meme is when somebody goes viral for something stupid and all the comments are just, bro, this would have gone platinum on The Ellen Show. So James burst into popularity, but it didn't take long for him to meet his first scandal. He made an incredibly problematic tweet about the Ebola virus. Like, what is this? Why is it not coming out? Oh, is this beeswax? You know, one thing I don't do. Mind my beeswax. Add a few drops of your fave essential oils into the mixture. Well, I didn't do that, but you know what I did do? I did bring glitter. I don't know if I should do this before or after. James Charles quickly deleted these tweets and issued an apology. CoverGirl also spoke out, stating that they did not support James Charles' racist, awful comments. However, the brand did not officially sever ties with him. Basically, they were like, okay, so we don't condone this behavior, but James Charles has been doing a really good Q3 for us, so we're gonna keep this running behind the scenes. So yeah, James stayed booked and blended. And it seems as if he had a good run until April 2019. James Charles goes on his World Sister Tour, and the prices for his tickets were astronomical. Like, you could probably get a Lady Gaga meet and greet for less money at the time. His teenage fans were very understandably upset about his $500 VIP tour tickets. In a tweet, James Charles explained, like, I've been working with the venue, and this is literally, guys, the best I can do. A lot of people were quick to kind of sniff out that this was very clearly disingenuous. Like, there were plenty of other artists doing tours for reasonable prices. Like, girl, that's not a meet and greet, that's a meet and deplete. I just know these kids were running up their parents' Amex. Like, Robux, JoJo Siwabos, and James Charles meet and greets were stimulating the economy in 2015. Now, I'm not saying I'd do this, but if you offered me $500 for a FaceTime call, I wouldn't say no. Just as his tour controversy is clearing up, he goes to Coachella, April 2019. This all begins because James posts a sponsored video for Sugar Bear Hair. And this would have been fine if he hadn't basically been breastfed by Totty Westbrook, who happened to own a competitor brand. This man called her mom. He did her wedding makeup, and then he turned around and sold out her loyalty for a VIP Coachella wristband and a fruit snack. But I don't know, with the lineup last year, like Lana Del Rey, like I maybe would have considered. I don't know though, because I do kind of see Tati's side for sure, but I also see James's side. As somebody who owns a brand, everybody go shop dellapella. That's dellapella.health for doctor-formulated, science-backed skincare supplements for those who struggle with acne. Back to our programming, but as somebody who owns a supplement company, I feel like if my friends were doing collaborations with other supplement companies, other skincare companies, other competitor brands, and those brands had the opportunity to pay my friends what they're worth to send them to Coachella, I don't think I would be offended because I kind of understand, like, I know that I can't pay my friends with such a small brand, like, what they're worth, and I want to be able to do that. Like, I want my friends to be making money, so if that's who was willing to pay them at the time, like, I think of all my close creator friends, like, I don't think I would take it that personally, but at the same time, I don't think I have any friends who can, like, make or break a brand in the way that James Charles does. So Tati making a crying, sobbing video, coming for his throat, canceling him over this is a little over the top, in my opinion. Okay, so now we take our lip balms. We've melted our gels. Well, actually, I think I want to add glitter to it. I think I'm just gonna do every color of glitter to make it fun. Oh, the purple looks beautiful. I love glitter. It's so fun. Wow. How am I gonna fit all the other colors in? Mystery. Ooh, it's beautiful. So there was Dramagetta 1.0 in 2018 used to describe the public falling out between Jeffree Star, Manny MUA, Gabrielle Zamora, and Laura Lee. They've now coined this Dramagetta 2.0. Of course, once again, it featured Jeffree Star. But after James' very public middle finger to Tati, Tati's response video, where she claimed that she felt wronged by James because he didn't warn her about the post, she felt like it was going against her brand. She said that she felt like he was being fake because he had told her, I'm not gonna promote your brand because I'm not gonna give supplements to teenagers. So that one does feel a little sus because the reasoning's off, so it's a little bit hypocritical. The bombshell is that Tati reveals in this video that James Charles has been using his power, platform, and privilege to manipulate men sexually. But what do you mean, Tati? You were really okay just sitting on that information until it benefited you? Girl, bye, sister.
It's like, no big deal. Like, sucking dick and cock. Like, I'm just like, oh my God. Time and place. And you did it at my birthday dinner.
After this video comes out, Jeffree Star tweets, there is a reason that Nathan, who is Jeffree Star's partner, banned James Charles from coming over to tour our home again. There's a reason why I haven't seen him since Glam Life Guru's birthday in February. He is a danger to society. Everything Tati said is 100% true. Then James Charles posts a video titled, No More Lies, in reaction to Tati and Jeffree's call out. He apologizes to Tati and he offers receipts to prove innocence against all the allegations. So then audiences kind of swing back into James Charles's favor, but the drama continues because Jeffree Star tweets at James Charles's younger brother, who at the time was literally like a young teenager. He tweets, why is your brother a predator? This is so insane. Jeffree Star is so messy. Like, there was no reason for the poor little brother to be taken into this.
Hi, sisters. For today's video, I grabbed Sister Ian and
Brother Ian?
No. Sister Ian needs
Brother.
to...
When the brother was on camera with James, you could tell he didn't want to be involved in any single part of it. So this just makes me feel so bad. Like, what do you mean? This kid was just trying to go to high school. This is how God made me. Sugar and spice and personality disorder and everything nice. Oh, I think this is getting too glittery. It's starting to get chonky. And I think I do want to drop a little bit of food coloring in this because like, what's the point of chapstick if it's not going to change the color of your lips? What do I look like walking around with natural colored anything? Pass. So yeah, let's just throw in some gel food coloring and see what that does. Around the same time, another controversy from Coachella weekend transpires. Audiences were quick to notice that James Charles's Coachella date was a 20-year-old Instagram model, Gage Gomez. Gomez came out claiming that James Charles pressured him into uncomfortable sexual situations, even though he had told the influencer that he wasn't into guys like that. In a tweet, James Charles tried to defend himself, saying that he and Gomez had been speaking for 5 months. Why were you speaking to a random straight boy on the internet for 5 months? He claimed that everything had been consensual and he was like basically being used and targeted for clout. Everything about this sentence is so confusing. I feel like a lot of this would be settled if the city of India just had a permanent ban on James Charles. Like, James Charles cannot come within 60 miles of Palm Springs, ever. Okay, so the food coloring didn't work. It just kind of separated from everything else, so that's kind of a flop on my end, and I don't know how I'm gonna navigate that. Oopsies! I feel like there's no material in here. I don't know how I'm gonna fill up these lip balms, but basically what I have to do with this now that I have all the glitters in, do the final mixing of this, and then I just basically dump it into the funnel like a scientist. Ooh. In the midst of this cancellation, he goes to the Met Gala? Brother in Christ, lay low for a day. Literally, May 2019, I think every day he was finding a new way to piss people off. After attending the 2019 Met Gala, you know the outfit, James Charles posted an Instagram praising the event for promoting influencer representation. I'm getting that as a tramp stamp. Influencer representation. We need more influencer representation. Because when I think of marginalized communities who need more representation, the first place my mind goes is rich white men who open packages of free eyeshadow for a living. Groundbreaking. After Dramagetta 2.0 came the demise of YouTube's It Group, the Sister Squad, which consisted of the Dolan twins, Emma Chamberlain, and James Charles. Matching hoodies, collab thumbnails, enough sexual attention to make anybody want to take a step away from the iPad. Now, they never officially made like a "we're done" statement or explained why they were no longer making videos together, but fans speculated that it could have been because James Charles was making the twins a little bit uncomfortable. Because James is notorious for like being incredibly thirsty online. Like, he said uncomfortable comments to Shawn Mendes, he's made weird comments, and like every hot guy on the internet, he has been saying creepy things in their comments section. He makes inappropriate comments toward the twins time after time after time, so much so that it almost became like a shtick. Somebody made a montage video called Grace and Jolin rejecting James Charles for 2 minutes straight, which ended up going viral.
I will admit that.
Same. I really was. I'm sorry, James.
With the wild. Okay, it's good enough. Thank God we have you to protect us.
The final collaboration was December 2018, and then this theory was solidified by the fact that the Dolan twins were photographed together with Emma Chamberlain in Coachella, April 2019. So people really started to speculate, like, wow, this seems like a pattern. Like, even the Dolan twins don't really mess with him. Oh my God, my water is boiling in the double broiler, but my chapstick is still staying unmelted. What is a girl to do? What do I do with this? I'm just gonna drop this in here, I guess. I thought this was foolproof, but I'm fooling with it. The chapstick dried in the funnel. What am I supposed to do with this, people? Also, take a shot every time I say Coachella in this video. Don't, for safety reasons. For your liver, please don't. I will say though, recently Emma Chamberlain made a video. Do you see the smoke? Am I gonna set off the fire alarm? Oh no, oh no. What am I supposed to do? This craft freaking sucks. Okay, well, my funnel's ruined, so I'm just gonna dump it off of my guest into this. Oh, hey now. Recently, Emma Chamberlain did a podcast where she kind of implied that Ethan fucked her over, so maybe that's the end of the Sister Squad. But then at the same time, they were at Coachella together, so who knows? None of them have ever been seen with James Charles since. Now we're to January 2020. Finally, James Charles has hit his COVID era. I feel like the TikTok generation is giving him kind of a second chance. He's out of the clutches of cancellation. In January January 2020, James posts an Instagram story of himself partying with friends singing My Type by Sweetie, which is such a good song. However, people were quick to point out that it totally looks like he's singing the N-word. People quickly took to Twitter to do hashtag James Charles is over party. Guys, we've had way too many parties at this point. My mom is getting pissed. There's Solo cups everywhere and you're not flushing the toilet. I can't keep having parties like this. Now, I don't think it was ever confirmed or denied if he were saying that. I would like to think he's smart enough to know not to do that. Now we're to April 2020. Jeffree Star appears on the Mom's Basement podcast where he claims to have a phone recording of a victim of James Charles's SA. He didn't play the tape or release any materials, but he did say, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna out a victim of James Charles if it's real because I don't know if it's real and I'll go into another room and play it for you. Reality check though, nothing says trust me like announcing a potential crime on a podcast hosted by FaZe Banks and Keemstar. Star's appearance kind of reopens the Dramaverse for Dramagetta 3.0 or Carmageddon. This is like if Avengers had ring lights. Jeffree Star is like Nick Fury gathering the masses to unite in wide-scale multi-creator feuds that will just pump their AdSense for months to come. Now we're to June 2020. Totty Westbrook comes back swinging, but not at James. This time she's flipping the script. And she uploads a new bombshell video targeting Jeffree Star himself. She publicly apologizes to James Charles. She said that she had been manipulated into making the original video by YouTubers Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star. She claimed she was beyond gaslit by two influencers into believing allegations against James Charles. Girl, you said that you had seen it with your own eyes. The whole like, we were at dinner and you did it at my birthday dinner. That means you saw it with your own eyes, not that you were told by somebody else, but her apology, she says,
I'm so sorry I allowed myself to be poisoned and weaponized against you. I'm sorry that I bought into any of their lies. Believing those lies and allowing myself to be gaslit into making that video is one of my biggest regrets in life.
Funny enough, this is like needing its own video because this video kind of began the full cancellation of Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star. It's quite cinematic how the tides turned for them. It's honestly like biblical, but instead of locusts and curses, we had poorly aged skits and makeup palettes. This time got me through COVID. Like every day was just doom forecasting. Like, hey, your graduation's canceled, prom's canceled. You literally can't leave the house. The next years of your future are unprecedented and the world might be ending. But my YouTubers are fighting and Shane Dawson has a palette coming out, so. Now we're to July 2020. Because apparently no global event can stop James Charles from clout chasing and being creepy. He finds himself in hot water after attending a party at the TikTok hype house in the peak of a global pandemic. This is really giving Vanessa Hudgens, if they're gonna die, they're gonna die, you know? Like, why would we cancel a party? He even got called out by Tyler Oakley. If Tyler Oakley dips a toe in, you have seriously fucked up. And his apology was pretty weak. It was just like an insert into a vlog. A day in the life with James Charles. And then just a little like, hey, sorry guys. Now he's laid low for a while. He's continuing to use TikTok to bolster goodwill for his audience. And in January 2021, just when you thought all the PR nightmares had been put out, James sprinted straight into another one. This time involving the Lopez brothers. In 2020, 22-year-old Andreas and 19-year-old Xavier Lopez were facing serious allegations of grooming underage boys. The internet was horrified, and instead of sitting this one out, James decided it was the perfect time to post in solidarity with the victims, which yes, absolutely. This would have been great, except users pointed out quickly that he had defended the Lopez brothers back in June. It's just like giving thoughts and prayers being given from the person who handed out matches at the scene of the crime. It's kind of difficult to post I stand with victims when you like historically have done the opposite. Now we're to February 2021. Can you believe how unrelenting this list is? A 16-year-old boy claimed James Charles had groomed him and pressured him into exchanging sexual photos via Snapchat. Adults with Snapchat, that is insane. You are insane. Charles spoke out against the allegations and claimed that he's unaware of the boy's age at the time of the interaction. But throughout this issue, he continues to post as if nothing happened. Recently, James Charles did a piece for Cosmopolitan. It's a total waste of time puff piece, but he does make a comment on this situation. In his interview, he said he was misled into believing that this boy was 18, and he blocked him as soon as he learned the truth. I've never been more disgusted in my life than when I found out that kid was 16 years old, Charles says now. I was mortified, absolutely mortified. This is from the 2023 puff piece Stupid Cosmo article called James Charles Would Like to Be Uncanceled. Cosmo, let's go back to real journalism. Tell me how to use whipped cream in the bedroom and what my martini says about my pussy. But in that same month, 3 more men came forward to share their negative experiences with James Charles. A 17-year-old boy shared screenshots alleging that Charles had continued to flirt with him via Instagram message even after learning his age. A third man of an unclear age came forward to share his negative, inappropriate conversations with Charles. What are you doing? Time after time after time. The power imbalance to have like millions and millions of followers and just to be like finding random boys on Instagram. Also, how are you prospecting random 18-year-old boys on Instagram? How are you finding them? That's like serious levels of perversion and creep to be like, find your exact niche type that is an 18-year-old boy who looks like he's 15. That is fucking weird. But if you thought we were done, we are not. March 2021, a 15-year-old teenage boy uses TikTok to share screenshots from conversations and photos he exchanged with Charles. I remember at the time, it was almost like a trend for like young boys to go troll James Charles because James would bite every time. That's the problem. He was on Snapchat, he was on Instagram, and literally anytime he got a morsel of attention from a straight-looking teenage boy, he was biting. Like he couldn't learn his lesson. So by April 1st, 2021, James Charles finally addresses this. In this video, James Charles apologizes to 2 different people under the age of 18. He explains why the incidents took place, including desperation, inexperience, and a misunderstanding of power dynamics. What I wasn't getting before is that the excitement that comes from talking to a celebrity is literally enough to make somebody do or say something they normally wouldn't. And even if that celebrity isn't intentionally weaponizing their fame, money, or power, that's the concept I wasn't getting, but now I do. Groundbreaking. Sister, I'm just so dumb. I'm so dumb and desperate. I didn't even understand that I was grooming teenage boys with my giant platform when I DM them with 20 million followers and where I post videos of my mansion. I didn't even understand that could be weird. I didn't even understand what I was doing when I DM boys from Iowa who are 15 and offered to take them to Coachella. It's so sad to be me. Like this man, Trisha Paytas said it best. James Charles, how are you always the victim every single time? I think every woman can relate to having a toxic pick-me man in their life, like the classic, like, nobody ever texts me. I'm so lonely. Can you show me what your boobs look like? Oh, so you're showering without me? I guess it's just because I'm ugly and everybody hates me, huh? Oh, you're breaking up with me? Everybody leaves me. I guess I'll just... Now we're to April 8th, 2021. By the time James finally admits to having inappropriate conversations with minors, a full week had gone by, which in internet time is like 7 years in a Grand Theft Auto trailer. And yet somehow his brand partners were zipping their lips like last summer's Daisy Dukes I Think I Still Fit. Morphe releases a statement via Rich Lux saying they do not condone inappropriate online behavior of any form. They then added that they were suspending marketing of the James Charles collab while they continued to evaluate and monitor the situation. This is PR speak for, we're gonna quietly figure this out and hope that nobody notices. And let's be honest, if your response plan includes the name Rich Lux, things are not going well.
Dan is the queen, you can't do nothing wrong, Dan is the queen.
April 9th, 2021, Tanojo, a longtime friend and James Charles fence-sitter/defender, disavows her 2019 tweets defending him after influencer Gage Gomez claimed Charles tried to manipulate him into questioning his sexuality. Tanojo says that James Charles 100% begged and manipulated her into his defense, which is so gross. Oh my gosh, to involve your friends is so gross. Again, I go back to having friends who are influencers and content creators, and to ask your friends to put their career on the line like that is so bold, especially now that we know that he fully did that shit. She goes on to say, I was defending someone that was my friend and at the time believed them. Sad to see. I later reconciled with Gage and discussed it, apologized, heard his side of the story, and now I call him one of my closest friends, which this is the most Tanojo thing I've ever heard in my life. Honestly, you could light this woman on fire and she'd tag you in an Instagram story like, my little arsonist! Ah! By April 16th, 2021, Morphe finally drops James Charles. In a new statement, James says, "As I said in the video, I can't show change overnight, but will over time. Since posting that video, many other people have come forward with a series of misleading stories and false accusations, which have been reported on by many people, creators, and news outlets. My legal team has begun taking action against people who have spread misinformation and or created completely fake stories, and this has gone too far." I'm sorry, but if 15 women came forward, you would be out. When it's problematic behavior of this nature, what has to be done for somebody to seriously take a deep look at how they are interacting with other people and being like a net negative on everyone around them? Disgusting. April 19th, he gets removed from YouTube's partner program and demonetized, which sad to see that he's back up and at it. And just when you think things couldn't get worse for James Charles, on April 26, 2021, he gets sued for wrongful termination by former employee Kelly Rocklin. Kelly was a former producer who claims that she had unpaid wages and that he was basically running his company like a middle school group chat. Watching the same people who screwed me over massively end up in deep scandals isn't news to me. It's karmic debt. The same day, a TikToker exposes a Twitter account that is linked to James Charles' old YouTube account where he's dropping the N-word. However, he claimed that he was hacked because it was an account that wasn't really used and the tweet was way too recent. So this is like one of the only things that maybe checks out. By May 10th, 2021, James Charles finally logs on for the first time since April 16th. In a 7-minute Twitter video, he addresses the Kelly Rocklin lawsuit. He says he feels blackmailed by the untrue allegations.
My team is like family to me.
Every successful and healthy employer says to their employees. Wrongful termination suits are unfortunately common in the industry and quite a headache for the defendant, which means myself. Oh, victim, 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 victim. It's honestly such a sister stress to deal with a sister suit. Things are so crazy for me to have to deal with this stupid wrongful termination lawsuit. This is just perfect convenient timing as well, considering this past weekend my old Twitter account, which I have not accessed since 2016 and only has one tweet, I guess was hacked last year, and the hacker publicly tweeted somebody the N-word and people actually thought it was me. But it does sound like hacked, but if the shoe fits, baby. He ends the video by thanking whatever fans are left sticking by him, how, why, when, where, and he says,
I can hope and pray is that one day justice is served and you guys are able to see me for who I really am and this situation for what it really is.
You're a piece of shit. Like, again, like these things always come out and nobody's like surprised. Like none of your friends were like, what? Everybody was kind of like, that's sucking dick and cock, and you did it at my birthday dinner. 2 days later, Business Insider comes out with the details of Kelly's lawsuit, claiming that she had passed out at a nail salon while with James Charles and suffered a concussion, as well as disability discrimination, failure to provide reasonable accommodation, and failure to pay minimum wage for overtime. She claims she worked 80 hours or more a week. She also alleges James Charles calls her names like bitch and used the N-word in front of her. If the shoe fits. And I absolutely believe this is so common. I've had friends who've done personal assistant gigs for celebrities and public figures. The overtime 80 hours a week at minimum wage thing is so real. It's so exploitative. All of my friends that work at like entry-level entertainment jobs are absolutely exploited. It is such a crusty, nasty industry. I cannot believe it. Side note, have you guys seen the videos of David Dobrik's assistant, doing the most random tasks for him all day? It's like a little bit creepy. It's a comment if you've seen that. It's very strange to me. Rocklin said she wished to settle, but Charles and his legal team declined in 2019, preferring private arbitration. In response to Charles's claim that Rocklin was blackmailing him, her attorney said Charles's legal team tried to kill the Business Insider report and silence her. Were you silent or were you silenced? So he finally goes away for what feels like barely any time at all, and he has his comeback tour, summer 2021. He uploads a 30-minute YouTube video called An Open Conversation. I can't believe we're only in 2021. Holy shit, James. He admitted that it would be ridiculous and irresponsible to come back to social media pretending nothing happened. And yet that's like basically what he did. The video was part apology tour, part content creator hostage tape, and the most disliked video on YouTube that week. It still racked up over 6 million views, but people love to watch the world burn. And what was his next video? Oh, I'm sure you could have guessed, a cookie trend. And that video was the 3rd most disliked video that week. This man, like, he has the money, he can survive. He could have just gone away, but he's like Tinkerbell. He needs the faint sound of an audience clapping in the distance to survive. And since then, he's just been doing TikTok trends, carrying on with business as usual. He launched his own makeup line. People keep on keeping on. Then we got the February 2023 Cosmopolitan article. We got a deeply nauseating update on James's redemption arc. This Cosmo piece was so glazed over it could have been Krispy Kreme. The article mostly skips over the heinous allegations and tries to paint James as like a misunderstood boy boss. The article reveals that the fallout has deeply affected his personal life, his mental health, and he's actually not even on speaking terms with his brother, which to me is absolutely telling. But the article tries to paint it as like, wow, this is so sad. We should feel so bad for him. He now claims that any romantic interest he seeks has to prove their age with a government-issued ID before proceeding. He claims, I'm like a club bouncer at this point, which might be a funny joke if you understood why that joke is there in the first place. Why are you going after guys who look questionable, bro? You can tell if somebody's like 30 that you're not gonna have to card them. Why don't we go by grocery store liquor laws? If you have to be questionably carded, then, you know, like if you look under 30, you should not date them at this point. But I don't know. You are getting too old for this to be your type. It's so weird, bro. The repetitive, scary, what? Get on Raya. Go to Precinct. I'm at Mickey's every Thursday. Go there. You're in a city with countless gorgeous gay men. I dare you. Find a man with a 401k. The image restoration you could get if you just publicly dated one man with a mortgage. But even with all the ID checking nonsense, it hasn't entirely worked for him. Earlier this year, a TikToker posted snippets of a flirty convo with James. He was outlining his boyfriend requirements like he was casting a CW pilot starring 17-year-olds. So cringe, so embarrassing for that to be aired out online. Boyfriend requirements, boyfriend application. James, you are so desperate. What the hell? He also shared that he recently caught a 17-year-old messing and editing his ID to try and date him. He's got to be making this up. There's no way somebody wanted to date James Charles so bad they fudged their ID. Really? Oh, wow. Let's check out our lip gloss. So, ooh, so cute. Look at that. Look at that, y'all. This is really good stuff. Wow. Wow, this is gorgeous. I love the way that it like egregiously crusts off. Oh, and I love the way that the glitter is not distributed correctly. Wow, it's really taking off my lipstick. Ooh, don't you want to kiss on these lips? This is entirely awful. And you know what I always say? Why buy a chapstick for $1 that's good when you can make something awful for $18? Ooh, this is lipstick too. Look at that. But let's talk about why James Charles is being talked about once again in the year of our Lord and Savior 2025. Enter the Kayla Malik situation, a storyline so absolutely disgusting that it makes Dramagetta look like a children's play. I want to be very careful about how I deliver this because this is like genuinely such a gut-wrenching, horrific topic. And my heart goes out to Kayla Malik and also other victims of DV. So if this is something that is potentially triggering for you, definitely click away. Kayla Malik recently came forward with 2 lengthy videos detailing the abuse that she endured from her ex-boyfriend, who was a small content creator named Evan Johnson. This broke my heart. She has been through hell and back. But here's why people are looking at James Charles right now. Over the past few years, James and Kayla have collaborated multiple times. They've been seen in public together. It seems like they are, if not close collaborators, friends.
Like this, and give you
a princess.
And it's been alleged that Kayla shared all the information happening with her and Evan to James Charles after the breakup. This is all alleged. Kayla, I think, has been in court literally today, so she can't fully talk about everything yet. But it's being alleged that he started hooking up with that same ex. And I mean, not just hooking up, housing him, flying him out, and hiding him, giving him PR advice, knowing full well what he had done to Kayla. And this week, the big bombshell is that Zach Sellers, a former friend of Evan's, went on the Be Better podcast and confirmed all of this. He said that James was fully aware what Evan was doing to Kayla and still chose to seek Evan's approval, to house him, to hook up with him, to protect him in spite of everything he had done.
I feel that James Charles was helping him out because he wanted a relationship with Evan Johnson.
A physical relationship.
Kayla has somewhat corroborated this based on, I've noticed she's liking certain TikTok comments. And she's definitely made a couple TikToks alluding to there might be some James Charles involvement. So the fact that Kayla endured all of this, she's sharing it so publicly, which is amazing because I know for me personally, like I know so many women are going to watch that video and feel either so seen or they're going to hopefully be able to recognize that they're in a similar toxic situation and get out of it. But the fact that Evan was arrested, bailed out, and James is just out here, I don't know, doing eyeshadow, it's enraging. It's tone deaf. It's sociopathic. Kayla deserves justice, and we deserve better from the platforms that are continually giving James Charles chance after chance after chance and paycheck after paycheck. There's nothing I hate more than watching James be up to villaintivities from his $7 million farmhouse. Hi, it's me, Satan from hell. And I have an update for you. It is currently Friday, May 9th, and there are a few updates on this story. I have good news and I have bad news. Good news, Evan Johnson is going to jail. Let's fucking go. Kayla won her case. I am so happy for her. Let's go. And update number 2, James Charles has responded to the drama. This is not an apology. This was a very angry to the point response video claiming that 1, him and Kayla Malik were not that close. They had only hung out like 4 times, 3 times. 2, he claims that Kayla had texted him saying that there was a weird falling out between Evan and herself, but he didn't take it that seriously.
I genuinely interpreted these messages as a messy breakup. Maybe he cheated, maybe they got into a drunken argument that ended badly. I could have never imagined what she was actually going through behind the scenes.
He also claims that yes, he did house Evan. Yes, Evan reached out to him. No, it was not sexual. James' side is that he felt like when Evan reached out, he saw a little bit of himself happening, like, oh, this poor kid is gonna get canceled in a 30-part Who the F Did I Marry video, and he didn't even do anything that bad. He said that he heard Evan's side and felt bad for him. He felt like they were both at fault, but Evan didn't have the resources that Kayla had. And the comment section on this video is damning. Who are we as a society? The fact that so many of the comments are like, did he stutter? This convinced me. Oh my God, why do I believe him? Are you goldfish brained? Of course, James Charles is going to sound smart and put together on camera. He's been doing this for 10 years. He literally puts himself on camera and presents in a way that is engaging and informative to other people. And he has been doing this professionally for a decade. And what's so crazy is that Be Better predicted exactly what James Charles was going to say in this video about a day before it happened.
He's going to strategically select receipts and screenshots and text messages to paint a timeline for you to influence public perception and introduce doubt as to if the allegations were really true or not.
So James Charles is playing the victim and swaying audiences. My take on it, allegedly as a joke, don't sue me, is how are you gonna say that you're not that good of friends with Kayla? You've only met her 3 times, so it's not that serious, but then go to bat for her ex-boyfriend who you've met even less times? Make that one make sense. Obviously you were into him. Obviously there was something weird going on. To be so sneaky and underhanded like that is so fucked up. I couldn't imagine, even one of my friends that maybe I've only hung out with 4 times, them going around my back like that to support my ex. Like, what reason did he have to outright support the ex? Even if that is all that happened, even if really what James is saying, all that happened is he let Evan Johnson sleep on the couch, why are you like helping out my ex when I told you it was messy and horrible and I'm not even ready to talk about it? What? Even as a 3-4 time meeting friend, that is so incredibly shitty. You gotta remember, Kayla and James are essentially co-workers, so there is some form of camaraderie in that. Like, they're gonna see each other. You do want to make nice with people that you are like working with. Kayla has been seen in the comment section of TikToks where people are talking about this James Charles discourse, and she's liked a few TikToks that are damning. Also, her sister has come out in response and claimed that James Charles is also full shit. So this story is gonna continue to develop and unfold, but the most important thing is that Kayla is a badass and has brought so much attention to DV, and I know that those videos really have helped somebody close to me personally, and they will continue to help others. So what's really important here is that Kayla got some semblance of justice, and this scumbag is going behind bars, and that Kayla's story is going to help millions and millions of girls. Sharing your story really does have a positive impact. James Charles is the only person who could contour his face into a new personality and still have no character. The only way that James Charles will ever take accountability is if it's a brand deal. We're going to have a documentary about this man someday. James went from cover girl to cover up. Babe, you have more red flags than a Six Flag parking lot. James Charles always says he's learning. Who are you learning from? Jared from Subway? The only collaboration I want to see James Charles do is with Chris Hansen. It's time for James Charles to literally go to jail. I don't know what to say. Somebody please like cooperate. And the fact that James Charles allegedly, this is all a joke, this is all for entertainment, allegedly, don't sue me because I know you might. James Charles, go fuck yourself. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel. It really does help. And I know this didn't even cover every single last one of James's problematic moments. So if you have a favorite, comment it down below. I want to know. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.